On a dark and stormy night in a city cloaked in shadows, a weary taxi driver named Jack picked up an unusual fare. The man who hailed his taxi wore a tattered coat, his face hidden beneath a wide brimmed hat. Jack could sense something peculiar about the passenger, but he brushed it off, attributing it to the airy weather. "Where to, sir?" Jack asked, trying to sound casual despite the unease gnawing at him. "To the old abandoned mansion on Greenwood Lane," replied the passenger in a low, raspy voice. Jack's heart skipped a beat. The mansion on Greenwood Lane had a dark history, rumored to be haunted by vengeful spirits. Some claimed it was cursed, and anyone who dared to enter never returned. Taking a deep breath, Jack decided it was just a coincidence and started driving towards the mansion. The rain poured relentlessly, and thunder rumbled ominously in the distance. As they neared the destination, the passenger spoke again. "Stop here," he commanded. "But this is Greenwood Lane," Jack protested, peering out the window at the imposing, decrepit mansion. "I'll walk the rest of the way," the passenger said, handing Jack an unusually old and worn-out coin. "Take this as your fare." The coin felt old and sent shivers down Jack's spine, but he nodded, accepting as soon as the passenger stepped out of the cab. Jack felt a wave of relief wash over him. He thought he was finally free of the haunting atmosphere surrounding his airy passenger. However, as he pulled away from the mansion, he saw the passenger standing at the gate, staring at him with glowy red eyes that seemed to pierce into his soul. Shaking off the terror, Jack continued driving, but strange things began to happen. The radio flickered on and off, emitting static that seemed to whisper ominous messages. The cab's interior lights flickered like dancing specters, and the windows fogged up from the inside, forming ghostly shapes. Suddenly, the passenger reappeared in the back seat, causing Jack to yelp in fright. His wide-brimmed hat had vanished, revealing a pale and ghastly face with hollow eyes. "You shouldn't have left me," the passenger hissed, his voice now echoing with an otherworldly tone. Jack tried to reason with himself, thinking it was just his imagination playing tricks on him. Perhaps he was exhausted from the long hours of driving, but the apparition persisted, its presence growing stronger with each passing minute. In a panic, Jack sped up, hoping to escape the horrifying passenger. However, no matter how fast he drove or where he turned, the specter remained in the backseat, tormenting him. The taxi's wheel screeched as it took sharp turns, but the relentless presence continued to haunt him. As they approached a deserted stretch of road, a sickening silence enveloped the cab. The passenger's face twisted into a sinister grin, and the air grew icy cold. Jack's breath fogged as he struggled to keep control of the vehicle. Shadows danced on the road ahead, and he glimpsed airy figures moving in the corners of his mission. In a desperate attempt to free himself from the ghostly tormentor, Jack decided to confront the spirit. "What do you want from me?" he shouted, his voice trembling with fear. The passenger's grin widened, and he replied, "I am bound to this world, cursed to wander until my debt is repaid. You must take me to the place where I met my demise. Only then I can rest in peace." Jack's heart pounded in his chest as he realized the truth. He had unwittingly picked up a restless soul, trapped between worlds. With grim determination, he followed the spirit's direction to the side of his untimely death. The rain intensified, pounding on the roof of the taxi like a mournful drum. They arrived at an old, dilapidated bridge where the passenger pointed. "This is where it happened," the spirit whispered. As Jack looked out of the desolate bridge, he felt an overwhelming sense of sorrow and regret. He would almost hear the cries of the ghostly soul, trapped in an eternal loop of despair. Summoning all of his courage, Jack stepped out of the cab and approached the bridge. The spirit followed him from flickering in the rain-soaked darkness. "I'm sorry for what happened to you," Jack said sincerely, trying to offer some form of closure to the tormented soul. As the words left his lips, a blinding light engulfed the spirit, and he slowly dissipated into the night. The rain ceased, and the clouds parted, revealing a glimmer of the moon. Jack returned to the taxi, feeling a mix of relief and sorrow. He knew that he had just helped a lost soul find peace, but the experience left an indelible mark on his heart. From that day on, Jack never forgot the haunted fear that forever changed his life, and he silently hoped that the spirit had finally found the peace it sought in the afterlife.